I get so caught up in the middle, thinking of drowning in those blue eyes.
Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to be here with you, getting into my May budget and closing out the month of May. This is always a busy time of year because I'm setting up videos for the next month as well as the current month, and I'm waiting for that last day to happen where I want to stop tracking my spending and get ready to close that out, get the final number before all the deposits are made for the next month. We have paychecks that come on the first of every month, and in fact, a majority of our money, over 80% of it, happens on the first or close to the first of the month. So that is what's going on here. So May 30th and 31st is not counted here in the month of May for our weekly check-in. It will be counted in the June budget, and that is fine because paychecks are falling in on the time because of the weekend. All right, now that I've got all that said, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm excited to have you here. I am trying to grow my channel, so if you'd like to help with that, please subscribe, like, comment, share, all the things free, obviously, and I would appreciate you doing that. So here we go. Let's get started. Normally I have a long notepad to work with. I don't have one today. So I am going to use a folded piece of paper here on a different type of notepad, and we're just going to go with it from here. So I don't like when it's laid out kind of like this. It's just too much. So I'm going to fold it in half and work with that. Now we're starting with the 22nd to the 29th. Those are the areas I have spending in that has happened on my credit card. So what I do for my budgeting, and not everybody does this, but years and years ago, I trained myself on a debit card to spend only on my debit card and learn to track it and get that sense of, oh, I'm getting too close to not having a buffer in my checking account, so I need to stop spending. Once I got that sensation settled and it's really started happening, first thing I did was put more bills on the credit card and then pay them either once or twice a month. And then I went, there's some rewards points on my credit card I could actually be earning. Why don't we put all the spending on the credit card and pay it off? But the first time I have to pay an interest fee because I didn't pay it off on time or pay all of it off, I was going to stop doing it. And that was almost 3 or 4 years ago. So I have not gained any interest in all these years. I think since 2020 or late 2020, I think that's when that started happening. And because I have disciplined myself, I put all the spending on a credit card. I pay it off once a week when I do my weekly check-in, which is the best time for me to do it because I already have the number and it matches with the bank account. I have shown a printout of my bank account where it went to zero and then on that credit card, and then started building charges again. Again, every week they're paid off. So bills go on the credit card, some of them, and then all the spending goes on there. So that is what we have going on today. These are my colors: grocery, household, restaurant, miscellaneous, gas, copay, and unbudgeted. So I only do no spends or put no spend stickers down when nothing happened that day out of these categories. I don't use them as a motivator, but it's kind of nice to see trends on when I'm spending more, when I'm spending less. Weekends are always more than normal. And here at the beginning of the month, I was actually out of town. So my husband was spending and I was spending and traveling and visiting my mom and dad and helping them. We're very excited. They sold their house, if you've been following. I was helping them stage their house before they put it on the market on the 8th. And it sold, I think, a week and a half later. And then they came down. Let's see, what is today? 30th. So they were here. They drove down Friday. They were here, saw houses on Saturday. Saturday night, they put an offer in. And Sunday, it was accepted. Sorry about that. And then they drove back on Tuesday. They visited some family on Monday, a couple hours from here, and then drove home. So there was a lot of traveling for them. And I'm really, really excited. So the month of June is going to be a little different too because, it's my son's birthday. We're going to have activities that we're going to be doing. We're going to go to a new aquarium and we're going to go and do, eat out and things like that because it's his birthday. My parents are moving up, getting all the things on this end taken care of it's just going to get busy. So I have to track. I have to make sure I'm not putting too much on the credit card and being charged any interest, which I have had no charges of interest in a very long time. Weekly check-in 4, that's what we're doing today. I'm just going to write week 4 up here to remind myself where I'm at. And we're going to start with grocery household, which is pink. So grocery household, starting right here, the first one I have is this $170.85. This was because my parents were here, as well as my family needed some things. So I went and got some groceries, mostly snacks for my family because we ate out a lot this month as well. And then odds and ends stuff for the house to make sure we had on a regular basis. It's the end of the month. So at the end of every month, we have a scheduled subscribe and save products for supplements for me, my husband, my son, and both of my adult sons who are autistic. And instead of getting them at the grocery store and trying to count all the pills and remember everything, I have a subscribe and save. And not everything comes every month. Some of them every 6 weeks, some of them every 2 months. So it depends on the quantity I buy, but this is what this month was. So I had 2 Amazon purchases. One was $81.86. Again, those are supplements all together. And there were actual individual charges. I just put all of them together on one number, so it made it easier for me. I didn't want to try to figure out how to get 20 some stickers, or not 20, but several stickers in this one box. I did have another Amazon that was part of it. That was $20.88, and that was Liquid IV. That's what the little quote things on the side here where I made notes. Liquid IV is just a it's a hydration multiplier. My husband's out driving around all the time. He gets hot. And he sweats a lot, unfortunately, my poor husband, but he needs these hydration multipliers. It keeps headaches at bay, where he used to have headaches a lot, really bad. And he doesn't have them as much anymore after he started drinking this, and it keeps him well hydrated. So we always stock up on those. And that was a pretty good price for like 14 to 16 individual packets, compared to our grocery store. Then I did a grocery pickup for $149.61. Be honest, I think I got some meats and some odds and ends stuff there as well. All of it was grocery household. And then my husband made a request after I had already put the grocery stuff in, and it was already being put together. It was some pistachios, I think. And then I went in and bought those little kid fruit cups. One of my sons still likes eating them at certain meals, so I went in and found what they did have. The brand name Del Monte was the one I was buying, but they didn't have that in stock anymore, and they weren't carrying it. And I do know the store is being remodeled, so they've cut back on certain products, and they're just not carrying it, and I don't know if they're going to bring it back later, but they had the grocery store brand of it, so that's what I picked up. Hopefully it tastes good, and he likes it, so we'll find out tonight when we do dinner. And then that is it. So those are my grocery households. Let me go ahead and check this off. There we go. And we're going to bring the calculator in and make sure I'm not in a glare. There we go. So I'm going to total this up and I'll be right back. All right, that was $439.47. All right, so that is what we actually spent at the grocery store for the last week. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is restaurants. And rest is just an abbreviated word for restaurants. And we're going to start here on Wednesday. We had Buffalo Wild Wings. My husband and I had a date night and just needed to get out. And to be honest, I think it was more for the waitress we had than it was for us, because she broke down in tears and just kind of was fed up with her job. And mainly because there was not enough people. working, and the manager really just did not seem interested in helping. So I'm just like, okay. But I held her hand, and she teared up, and she was saying what she was saying. We let her say what she said. We're one of those people that we attract people that want to kind of confess to us things that we don't expect. It's just one of those, it's happened to me and my husband our whole lives. So when it happens, we just kind of, pray over them as they're speaking. Unless God tells us, we don't tell them we're doing it. But we'll have the conversation, and just, it's one of those things that you have to be sensitive to the Holy Spirit for. So all we did was sit and listen that night. And even when I tried to speak about it, God was like, nope, you're not the person. I'm like, okay. No problem. So we went there. We gave her an extra big tip because we felt so bad, and I know she was struggling. And the food was good, and the atmosphere was great. And we're givers. We love to tithe. We love to give. We love to help. And so because we love all those things, that was important to us, to give her a little extra and give to somebody that probably needed it in the moment. So that's what we did there. And then on Friday, I went to Casa Fiesta. My parents were on their way in. My husband and I needed to strategize for the week. And we just found out late Thursday night that they were going to drive in on Friday, and which was great. We were so happy to have them. We just had to figure out things around the house and schedules and make sure it flowed well once they got there, and all the things. So there you go. Papa John's, our son's order pizza, $35.92. We have some great drivers that we tip. It's kind of part of when we tip, it's like part of our gifting and missions in life, missionary stuff. And that's just one way we like to make sure people are taken care of. So we budget for it, and we give. So Papa John's $35.92. We gave a little extra tip because it was Memorial Day weekend. We knew people were busy and crazy, and we just wanted to give there. So most of our eating out involves a tip, anywhere from $5 to $10 to $12. One of them maybe $15. That's the highest we've ever gone. So it just depends when we're giving big or when we're giving 20% or higher is when we're doing that in the service industry. And I think that's pretty fair. If it's not, let me know in the comments. What do you tip? How do you decide to tip? What is your feelings on that? We don't care how good or bad the service is. We just want to make sure people can pay their rent and take care of their families. Sonny's barbecue, me, my mom, dad, all 6 of us went out for that. That was $74.17, including tip. Now Freddy's did not. Freddy's. I don't know what else it's called, but it's like a 50s diner with and you may have one in your town, custard ice cream and hamburger, smash burgers, and I don't think they have hot dogs, but they might have hot dogs or chili dogs or something like that. So we went and got 2 medium ice cream or custard. I got a specialty sundae, and my husband got a specialty sundae. It was $12 for the 2 of us, $12.06. And it was just a little day date after we spent a lot of money at Menards. That's why we have it unbudgeted here. And we'll talk about that later. Then Trackside. It's a new restaurant that my husband found while he was working, and he was with some of his bosses and a trainee and intern and all that stuff. So they stopped and got lunch here. It was $23.32. I accidentally forgot to include the $3.50 tip that he included on this, and you will see that in June's budget at the first of the month as a transaction for the credit card. I just didn't want to go back and change everything, and I didn't make that. When I made the payment, because I've already done it, made the payment to the credit card for this spending, I forgot to include the tip because the tip had not been processed yet in the credit card statement or online on the credit card when you look at it, because there's several of them, including the Amazon ones, that are pending. Usually if it's not a restaurant, the pending doesn't change. It stays the price that you actually charged. But sometimes with restaurants, they don't include the tip, or they include it separate. And so This one didn't have the tip, and it just slipped my mind. Normally when it's a restaurant, I just take what's on the receipt that my husband gives me, not what the bank account says. So I messed up this time, and that is okay. It was only $3.50. I just figured it out, and I'm forcing the math to work. So there you go. Let's get these all checked off and make sure I know what I forgot that one. And take care of this. So let me total this up, and I'll be right back. All right. We have $247.79 as how much we spent at on restaurants and tips for the last week of the month. That's a lot of money. But like I said, my parents were here during this time, and then my husband was at work and he went out to eat. And then Monday was Memorial Day, so that was us going out and enjoying ourselves a little bit, me and my husband. So we did that. Miscellaneous, I have one miscellaneous transaction. I might show you a picture of this. So miscellaneous. And it was Shutterfly for $26.53. So Shutterfly, if you don't know what it is, it's a place you can order photos and things like that. And I need to I'm going to pull up on my phone the photo that I had a print made of and see if you guys can actually see it. There we go. So try not to get any glare, that's hard. Hopefully you can see this, but this is my family homestead. It's in the family. My great-grandparents built this house, and then my grandfather built this garage. And I'll just kind of zoom in a little bit here. That's the house. This is the garage. Now for you guys, it's up on this hill. It's in West Virginia. Grandparents built it. My grandfather grew up in it. They actually originally had a log cabin that they built years ago. It's already deteriorated by now. When my grandfather was born in 1933. So this was built after that, probably 35. Yeah, it's in the late 30s when the house was built up on this hill. And it holds a lot of great memories and stuff like it. It's the only house that any of my grandparents had that's still standing, that has family memories that I actually absolutely love. My great-grandmother was an amazing woman. She loved me to death because I was the first great-grandchild, and my dad was her favorite, and he was the first grandchild. So it's just a lot of these memories. So I got a 12 by 36 print of this. It is panoramic. It did blur right here, but I really don't care about that. It's just that when I see it, the memories, it's just a beautiful place. So it's normally $50-some to get a print that size printed. And it was half price, and I've been waiting for a good discount for Shutterfly to print at that discount. I just got to find a frame for it once it comes, but it's $26.53, which I thought was very reasonable for what I can afford, and that's what I spent there. So I actually really love that. I can't wait to see it once it comes in and have it hung up. So one of the few things I've actually wanted to do for a very long time. And I took that picture like years ago, several years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And my grandmother actually, who's living in it now, she's the one that asked me for it. And then my dad actually printed it himself on a computer or something like that for her, or had a print made. So the only thing I have left, because I have no gasoline, we're just going to put gas. 0, we have no copay, 0, and then unbudgeted. So unbudgeted. Okay, I'm going to abbreviate that. We went to Menards for $177.62. You know, back in the day, you used to go into Walmart or Target and you couldn't leave without $100 worth of stuff. That's kind of what happened here when you first get into it and shopping. So what happened? We bought another tool that my husband's been wanting. I am going to do some starter soil kits with pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. I think those are the two that I bought. And we bought also a, what do you call it? a burning bush. So it stays green during the year. In the fall, it turns this bright red. And it's going to go perfect out front of my kitchen window, beside the garage, in the front of the house, and fill in, because we actually took a tree down there and there's kind of a bald spot there, so we want to fill it in with this burning bush, and we thought it would look really good because it would be red in the fall on that end, and then the other end of the house on the front is a peach tree, ornamental peach tree, and it has red leaves on it, so, and it gets pink blooms and stuff like that. So I've been looking for a burning bush since I moved here, and I finally found one, and then we just started buying all the other stuff on top of it. It was just crazy. But we got out of the house. Menards is brand new to us. They just built it. It's been open a few months, and it's been fun to go into. They do have rebates at Menards on their receipts, and when you purchase stuff, and I think one of mine was $18 and the other one was $11. And I just mailed it in today. Hopefully we'll see what I think they mail you a check back for the rebate, and we'll see when that comes back. And I'll let you know how that works. So if you have a Menards near you and want some cash back on sales, then check that out. I think it was like 11% off, so that's kind of cool. All right, are we done here? We have no bills. Let me write that down. And payback credit card, that's where we're at. So pay credit card. Hopefully the math will work. I might have to tweak it a little bit when I get to the paycheck, because I know how much balance forward, and I may have to make an adjustment, either positive or negative, just to get the $1 or $2. I don't know every month now I've been off like $1 or $2, and I can't figure out why. Okay, now that we have this, let's go ahead and put this on week 4, the weekly check-in here, and get this done. So $436.72 is what I balanced forward from week 3 to week 4, left over in the grocery household category. We spent just a little bit over, so we are negative, but I'm not I'm not upset about it. $439.47. So we have $436.72. I'm not doing a week 5. I'm closing out the month, minus the $439.47, and that gives us a negative $2.75. Okay, so now that we know that number, we know we're over budget by $82.40 with the restaurants. We spent another $247.79. So that is over. Oh, I forgot to write the amount. $247.79. Way over budget. $300 for the month. Over $330 for the month. $330.19. Okay, so now that we've got that number, we're moving on to miscellaneous. I think this is where my dollars or something is messed up a little bit, but we're just going to go with it, and I'll adjust later in the paycheck to close out. $84.23 is what we have that we planned. That was, as you're going through this, you can pretend these are cash envelopes, and I'm just accounting for those without having actual cash. That's kind of how I think of my weekly check-in. So $84.23, and I spent $26.53. I'm very proud of me and my family for the past few months not spending a lot out of this category. $57.70 is what we spent. That is so, sorry about that. That's how much we had left over. Oh, so we spent $26.53, and then we had $57.70. This and the copay is all I really had left, and so I'm over budget for the entire month, but I did budget very low this month, so that's been an issue, so I shouldn't have done that. Gasoline, we spent nothing, so that stayed at the $46.78, And that was because I drove to North Carolina and back, and I did not deposit the cash my dad gave me for traveling and gas money and stuff like that, but that's okay. Took it out of the buffer checking account and kept the cash. It's still sitting in most of it's still sitting in my wallet. I did go out to Chick-fil-A the other day, and then I just paid like less than $4 for something for my son that he needed. So there you go. We had 0 in copay. This one that had money left over, we didn't have any doctor's appointments. Next month, we have at least one doctor's appointment for one of my sons that will be $25, and that copay will happen then. And then unbudgeted. Yeah, that $177. The reason I put it under unbudgeted because I had not decided how I'm going to pay for it. And at the time, I'm like, I'm probably going to take it out of the buffer to checking account because I really didn't want to take it out of savings. And so it lowered what I put into savings, but did not come out of savings. So I left it in the buffer, or I left it in unbudgeted and took it out of the buffer, the checking account. $177.62. Okay, so now you know I only had 2 categories I was not over budgeting. I'm going to put check marks here because I've already paid it, and all those things were satisfied and taken care of in the checking account. I paid the credit card. So not including the unbudgeted, I'm going to total up what we were over budget. Let's see, let's start with the positive numbers. 82.30 plus the 57.70 minus the 2.75 minus the 330.19 and minus the 46.87. There we go. So in the spending categories, what I was actually over for the, not the unbudgeted, but the grocery, household, restaurants, miscellaneous, gas, and copay for the entire month was $239.72. So I'm going to write that down because I cannot hold memory of something I just read or saw. And if I don't write it down, I'll forget. All right, so I have that number down. I gave myself $2,500 for the entire month for all spending categories. And I also went over by $239.72. Now, this does not include unbudgeted because I don't budget for unbudgeted. So my total was over. So I know it was over 239. I don't know why I'm doing it. $72, giving me a total of what I spent this month, $2,739.72, which is kind of just below the $2,800 that I actually budget on a typical basis. So my spending really didn't change that much overall. I did in categories, but not so much for the month. But I used to give myself $2,800, and that was when we were making more money than what we're making now, and we have just not adjusted down yet on how we spend. That is something I need to kind of review and talk with my husband about and come up with a family plan on how to make the decision to go less, because $2,500 for 4 adults should be enough. But what are we spending and what are we doing? But we do know we have special circumstances this month because of family and next month because of family. So that is that. So let's go ahead and figure out how much I had to pay the credit card back. So we had to pay the credit card back $493.47 plus the $247.79 plus the $26.53 and the $177.62. All the money, all the cash comes out of our checking account in to pay the credit card. Everything, all deposits come into our checking account, and then it sits there until it's told what to do. I track everything and make decisions where the money's coming from based on what I know we have. Actual cash sitting in the checking account. I do pre-plan, and our cash income is very regular now, so I can really It's only off by a few cents here and there on my husband's 2 salary checks for the month. But other than that, nothing else really changes. So income-wise, we have a pretty good understanding of what our income is. And so let's see what this is. $891.41. That's exactly what I paid the credit card. It didn't give me a zero balance because, again, I forgot to include the tip for this one. I just paid whatever the pending amount was and forgot about the tip. So I'm putting the tip in for the month of June. You'll see that there. But this is the actual amount I paid the credit card, and that's the number I have here in these categories. That was done, taken out of the checking account, put into the credit card. And even though things are pending, the credit card's pending as well. So it eventually works out. So the way this works is I'm supposed to be able to take what I spent here and what I spent here, and if I have a 5th week, what I spent there. But this time it was just 2 weeks, and I think next month is 2 weeks as well. That total, and that goes into paycheck 2 total actuals. So paycheck 2 is represented from the 15th on in the month. And so when I am doing this, the 15th forward, all of these transactions are included combined. So that's week 3 and week 4 of the weekly check-in. And if there's a week 5, it'll include that as well. So if I took, I'm not going to do all of them, I'll just do the first one just to show you. $227.08 plus the $439.47, we come with $666.55. So that is the number I'm putting here. Now, I've already done all the math. You don't have to worry about me going through all of that. And we're just going to transfer the numbers over. Okay. So now we have officially moved on to paycheck 2 closeout. I've just closed out the weekly check-in. I know what I'm over in each category for the month, and I know that lowering this did not help matters. Man, the lights and the reflections are driving me crazy. Okay, now back to paycheck 2 budget. So we have adjustment here. Hopefully my numbers in that adjustment is correct. I had to bump it up 99 cents. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have taken the $1 out last month, and that's why this is happening, and then I messed up a penny somewhere. I don't know. But that's what I'm working with because that's what my notes say. My goal right now is to to satisfy all the bills and spending I have planned for the month of June. I need $252 plus $3.50 of that tip that I forgot. And I need $255.50 for my actual. And that actual will balance forward into the month of June because I actually transferred this amount into our money market account. That's what MMA stands for, and in our bank. So yeah, that's what I have there. So I'm going to go ahead and put the numbers here. We're going to run the totals, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have everything set up. I'm ready to go. Let's go ahead and total these numbers, and starting with the deposit. We have $3,243.56 plus $1,315.13 plus the $37.41. Now that was a deposit from my husband's thrift savings after he did all the adjustments and moved it from TSP or thrift savings account to a Edward Jones account. We're trying to get all of the different accounts that we have from different businesses that my husband's worked at into one location and then have it, his retirements grow in that one spot, not in several places. So not all of it rolled over into it. There was some change left over. Last month we got $700 and then there was still $37.41. So that's where that deposit came from. And then I had to make an adjustment for 99 cents because I did something somewhere, I don't know what. And that's okay. We're just making it go. Oops, wrong pen. $4,597.09 is what we have here. And that's what we had to work with on paycheck 2. And we moved all the monies all the way around. So there's not much left except for what we need for the next month. Now, you're going to see here something a little bit different. Sinking funds. It was lowered. It actually wasn't lowered. I just put a smaller number here because, as you can see at the bottom, this came directly out of my checking account. It did not go to the credit card. So Orkin came and did their quarterly stuff that they do to make sure bugs are not in our house, and if they try to get in, they die. So and pest control stuff. So we make sure there's no mice, no insects, no whatever, and all of it stays out of the house. And so instead of sending all of this money to the sinking fund saving account and then moving this back, I just reduced this number and sent over what I needed for the sinking funds, and then Orkin came out of the checking account, so I just left the money sitting there because they kind of happened on the same day I was planning to transfer sinking funds, so I really didn't need to transfer all of it. If you add these two, it equals the same. So we're going to total these two columns up. Nothing else changed, so this number should be the same as this number, and I will be right back. Okay, so we have $3,073.93 that we spent here. Did I even write this number down? I don't know what I did. Did I forget to write the number down? I think I did. You guys are probably really laughing at me. 36. Let me do this one more time. All right, so that number matches the $1,267.66. I get one text and throws my whole thing off. All right, so I have all my numbers. I know how much income came in. I know what I spent in bills and expenses over here, and I know what I spent in our spending categories over here, or variable, however you want to put it. And we're going to find out the number. So I have $4,597.09 here for the actual income. I'm going to take out the $1,267.66 here for the actual expenses for all these fixed expenses. Then it still leaves us $3,329.43, which looks like it's lining up right. And then we're going to take these, this total here, $3,073.93. And what do we get? Perfect. Okay, so that 99-cent adjustment still worked and worked out just fine. So we have, and this is the magic number I needed, $255.50. So it doesn't matter if I made a mistake here, based on the numbers on the weekly check-in, whatever adjustments I needed, because I didn't do it right. This is the bank account. This is what the bank account says before the May 30th salary deposit hits, because the 1st is on a Saturday and they get the end of the month, and for whatever reason they chose the 30th, not the 31st. So there you go. If I subtract the $3.50 of tip I forgot, that leaves the $252 I planned for the rest of the budget to make sure I had enough cash to cover all the spending categories in June that I pushed up, and to make sure I can cover the grocery household. That's going to be $1,600, not $1,400. And even though we did find this month, next month I want to make sure we have plenty. And then also I bumped up from $400 to $600 our restaurants, because again, my parents will be in town and they're just moving into the area on the last few days of the month of June. I don't know if I'm going to go back and help them right now. The answer is no, but that could change at any moment. So I wanted to make sure those were all beefed up as much as possible, and the rest of it will just have to come out of savings if I have to spend any money. So when I close out my sinking funds and savings tracker earlier this month, there has been one change, and that was that, forgot to show you. That was this $1,432.20. This is what was left of the buffer that I could have left in the checking account and decided not to because I know I'll spend it. Because summer's here and we'll want to do all these activities. I want to strategize and plan for those activities and figure out where the money's coming, not go, oh, it's in the buffer checking out, we'll take care of it. No, I don't want to do that. So that's why the buffer drops so much. That I'm balancing forward into the month of June. This is the money from May that's going into June that's left over in May. So I did move that money. You're going to see it right here in my savings tracker for the month of May, and that is right here, $1432.20. I did spend out of this, but it elevated this and elevated that. This is going to change. I don't know if I'm just going to combine and know that some of the accounts are, some of the money is in an Edward Jones account and some of the money is in our money market account, and just use the savings tracker, or if I'm going to separate it out. But we'll see how it turns out next month. I am not sure what I'm going to do. So that is that. So that is paycheck to a closeout, weekly check-in closeout. We are done for the month of May. It's in the books. We're done. That's it. All I can do now is just go here to June and go to here, and I'm going to put that $255.50. I'm budgeting that, but it's actually going to be an actual as well. So I'm just going ahead and add it here. So this is for balance forward, anything I move from the previous month to the new month, and then other. I'm just going to go ahead and write this here, and when I do my June 1st budget, you will see this. I'm actually behind on this, so I'll be filming this next, and it'll go up next. So there, and then if I need to add more, I have some space here to do that. All right, that is that. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Have an amazing and blessed day. Bye.
I'm losing sight 'cause I am falling. I'm so deep down, and it's not a lie that I die. I can't hide.